Okay, yeah, I'm back with the grits. My first thing is this. My first matter of business is this. I have a 23-year-old and I have a 21-year-old, soon to be 22. I'm 49. I'm a Gen Xer. Now, you know we're a different breed. We're not like our boomer parents. And, you know, I have a millennial brother. And we're a mix of in between those things. Like, we can be kind of old-fashioned but modern at the same time. But because of how we grew up with the boomers being a lot of potheads and hippies, we had to fend for ourselves in a lot of ways compared to the generations after us, which I'm not blaming or complaining to any extent. However, I raised my children to be respectful of people and to be nice to everybody because that's how they want to be treated. Well, by the time they became adults, they realized their mother was not necessarily this type of person. And don't get me wrong, I'm not disrespectful of people, but I will cuss you out. For example, we were talking about something and I was pissed off. And I was like, that motherfucking effer. Excuse me. And I was like, that effer, the F-bomb, as in the colloquialism, the slang word that you use for a gay man. My children looked at me and they gasped. They were like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. And I was like, why? They're like, well, you don't say that. You never say that. You never say that kind of stuff. And I don't. But in this particular instance, I said, I don't necessarily mean that he's gay. I'm just saying that's a bad word. Like, this is how I feel. I have no respect and no regard for you, which to me was the equivalent to calling a woman a bitch. Even though you might not be a womanizing man, in your mind you might call her, or maybe out loud in some sense you might call her a bitch, even though she might not be one. That was the sense that I was meaning it in. Segueing off of that again, my children often correct me and they will say things like, you know, you would be canceled on such and such. I was like, no, I will. No. That phrase cancel that they use, you can't cancel somebody that wakes up the next morning. Like, really? Canceled? Like, that's mob shit. Throw somebody out in the river with a brick on their foot and like that, you cancel then. That to me is canceling. You can't cancel me because, for one, unlike a lot of other generations, I'm not concerned about what a lot of people think of me. And I had to become that way based on how I grew up. One of the best pieces of advice my mama gave me about a bully when I was in elementary school was to ignore that bully. However, I perfected my technique of bullying, but I also learned to observe in the process of it and be able to read people very well. Hence to say, one of the ways that you can tell when people do not like you is their body language. Before they say anything, their body will tell it all. From their eyes to the way they physically stance in front of you to their entire piece of body language. I look at everything and you can't play it off. And I don't care who you are, what you say. The real person is going to show up at some point that does not like you. They might pretend to like you in the beginning, but even in the beginning, you can tell based on a person's mannerisms around you. One of the things I've come to realize at an old age, 49, not too old, but getting there, is that people will show you who they are instantly. We just don't pay attention to it because we are so locked into creating a genuine relationship with people. Now, there are some people who do have motives with conversations and the relationships they create with you. I'm not one of those people. And for that reason, I don't hang around with a lot of people that much. I don't have a big circle. Matter of fact, I don't even have a circle. I acquaint myself with family with limitations. I talk to my children and I talk to myself like I am in this car, so to speak. And I talk to God and I talk to my heavenly staff. But to divulge a lot of things to individual people, I do not do, not because I don't completely trust people, is because I just haven't found people that are worth my stock. You know, so therefore I don't give a lot of information to people. I'm cordial with people and people's information is okay with me for the most part. I don't have an investment in using what you told me about you or whatever to tear you down because I think highly of myself. That's first and foremost. People who don't think highly of themselves or put themselves lower than you will often try to create a chaotic situation by getting information about you to go tell other people about you to make you appear a certain way, which to them, they wanted to be lower than you. So that's two of the things that these people would do. But instantly you can tell when a person does not like you when you initially meet them. Pay very close attention to their eyes, not the smile, because you can smile and have very dead eyes, and I'm being so serious. People don't realize that, but you can. People fake it all the time. The eyes do not lie. People cover up their eyes when they talk to you, or can I look you in your face? I learned that in elementary school, and I can't remember what teacher told me that or what the scenario was. I don't know if it was a safety something video, but when a person cannot look you in the eyes or in around this vicinity for some reason or whatever, that motherfucker don't mean you no good. I don't care who it is. Do you hear me? I mean, no good. Other ways that you can tell if you don't initially have all of these scenarios, and I'm not saying this in any particular order or anything, I'm just going off the whim of what I know. When you have a situation that is something that you're trying to work through, and you are saying it to another person in reference to just vent or to get advice or help, and they don't come up with a resolution or offer to help you in any way, they don't like your ass. They do not like you. Ma'am or sir, they do not like you. And I'm being so honest. They don't even, did I say like, they don't even care. They don't give an inkling for you. They would just sit there and bulk and listen, so, and bulk up their own ego and listen to what you have to say, just to be happy that you are in a bad situation. And you've seen these men's videos talking about the men. If you have an issue and that man didn't fix the problem, these guys are right. The same thing goes with a friend or so-called friend, family member. And I've said this before. If you come to me with a problem, I'm gonna listen to your problem. I might interrupt you a couple of times to just give my input, like that mother, this here, da. But at the end of what you got going on, I'm gonna try to come up with some resolutions for you. It's up to you whether you take them or not. But that's just me being a concerned person about the next person that I'm concerned with. You might not want the information, that's fine, but that's just who I am. Other ways are when, and some people, and I say this to say, people who do not like you, they cannot hide it. The real them is gonna show up at some point. This was horrible. They didn't make this right, baby. It's trash. Trash. Do you hear me? Anyways, excuse me. The other way is, knowing that they don't like you, pay attention to also when you're around, a group of people, and the person that you think doesn't like you, how do they react to the people that you talk to? Pay attention to their reaction to the people that you are acquainted with, that you're close to. The reaction to that person will be similar to how they feel about you also. Because they don't like you, and they don't like anything or anybody in proximity to you or your likeness. I had it's a person I know that, would have a function annually. And there were two groups of people that this person would invite. And those people, one group of them did not like the other group. And you could tell, like, the tension was as thick as pea soup. They couldn't even be cordial. I call one group the basics, and the other group was like the bad bitches. Like night and day. It was crazy. It was crazy to me. But also that said to me, in a sense, that the other person didn't realize, is like, okay, everybody has a common ground. There was commonality between that one person and those two groups of people. However, the basics, in my opinion, didn't like the bad bitches because they reflected what they probably wanted to be, and the reflection of the common denominator person was more a reflection of the basic people, even though she could be the bad bitch at times if she wanted to be. But that's just my opinion. So anyways, that concludes my video on how a motherfucker don't like you.